That looks like fun.
All right. I'm going to do this quick because I want to get back up.
See if you can there's any shots.
And it's a daylight.
I mean, there's a lot in.
Come here. Ah.
Look at this. He's above the clouds.
Wow.
Get a glimpse of amazing.
Gotta make sure I'm not freezing up there. It's probably 65 degrees. Insane. Normally I don't do high altitude flights like this. I've done 1 to 6,000, 1 to 7, and then the highest was 1 to 9. But today's just one of those days. I want to set a personal record. I'm shooting for 12,000. I'm pretty stoked. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's get to it. Alright, let me tell you what. I am burning up with all these clothes on. But gotta make sure I'm not freezing up there. It's probably like 65 degrees on the ground.
So how does one do
about
this?
10 liters of gas.
That's a
trusty old Scout. I am flying a Hydron.
There's a
I'm just
class
excited to get in the
just
air.
outside Orlando.
Got some airflow.
Really?
Got a little
Yes.
altitude.
Oh my god.
You buy your own
Looks like
equipment
I'm
for
ready to
about
leave the ground.
$5,000.
That's
Let's
not
give
too
this
bad.
a shot.
That's not.
Oh, it's so easy. It's been a while since I launched this wing. So much more lift. Like I said, it's abnormally warm today and so I figured why not go for a personal record. I am stoked for this, man. This wing climbs so much more effortlessly than the Snake does. Big difference 4 meters makes. Alright, so here's the setup. I've got my phone tethered right here. I'm going to go ahead and open up the GPS app. We've got a speed of 20 miles an hour. Altitude is 1,600 feet. So the majority of this flight, the climb up is just going to be boring. So I think I'm going to shut the GoPro down, conserve some battery. I'll check back with you guys when we're around 5,000 feet. Ready? Time warp. But they're over there. So the mission for today is simple. I'm going to try to land at McDonald's and go get some food. So it depends on a couple factors. A few things have to go right to complete that mission, but we'll talk about that more once I get up in the air. We're running out of daylight, so I'm going to send it pretty quick. Quick reminder before I get in the air, airfoil t-shirts, campaign, and down the get set up with, all right, over there, and we'll be in the air. Let's do it. All right, go there, go there, here, let's go here. Good. Sending it. Freaking FedEx, first class, next day air. What do we got here, mate? A beautiful night to go flying. That's what we got. Right, Jess? Friggin' sending it, mate. Weather conditions are prime. The sun is up. The wind is reasonable. There's some massive clouds, but they're over there. I would say today's weather because that laser beam. Also, I don't really advocate McDonald's. Like, I don't eat it on the regular. I'll eat it in a pinch if I'm looking for it's hot. First things first, let's evaluate wind direction. They got a flag out. What to do now is set her up and come on in. All right. Approach is clear. No power lines. All I gotta do is.
I think a lot of people are curious just to see what it is actually like inside.
Took a 180. And beautiful.
Sounds like that'd be only a downside is like the
Like a
field
boss.
space. Just need to get enough field space to actually do it.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool though.
Anyway,
We have a.
yeah. So they there's a big paramotor training school. It's outside our. Again, it's something you want to train.
It's what?
Something you need to train before you do it.
Well, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Up in the air with it's a long way down, but the trouble is you're not long enough to like deploy a whole parachute and come floating down. Something happens. So
Yeah. Cool.
yeah,
That's
that was
fucking cool. That is really cool.
Yeah. YouTube's recommended stuff just shows these weird videos randomly at me.
That's fucking cool, though. That's
Yeah.
a really cool
I
video.
was like, what is this?
I didn't know that was a thing. That's awesome.
Yeah. The guy did a race, 1,300 miles. Not continuously, I mean, in stages over like 4 days, but it was like 1,300 miles. He was going over the Grand Canyon, all sorts.
Dude, instead of next road trip, that.
You know,
Like, across the country.
yeah, well, that's what he did.
Videos everywhere.
He did. Look, if you get a chance, watch his Crush Challenge. It'll be a Crush Challenge.
Okay.
And there's videos. He's video of the whole thing. It's amazing. Just the views and having fun. And it's stuck. He's like, okay, well, I'm giving a little gas. And then, oh, okay, there's a little gas station down there. It's literally like these gas station attendants. Just drops in. Goes up with gas.
And it's totally legal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The only restrictions you got is you can't fly in like restricted airspace.
Yeah, like Disney World.
Yeah.
So.
No, restricted as in like where aircraft coming in for that.
Well, that too. Yeah. Yeah. But there's places like that. That's a no-fly. I mean, Disney's a no-fly zone. I just happen to, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
You just have to know.
Yeah. Well, this program.
Wow.
But yeah.
So the Carnival Horizon, it's getting its very own queen. The queen of hip-hop, that is. Love her or hate her, Queen Latifah is going to be the ship's godmother when it sails later this year. Latifah will preside over the ship's official naming ceremony in New York City on May 23rd, 2018. She'll also participate in a special Horizon version of the cruise line Shipboard's reproduction of the hit Paramount Network TV show Lip Sync Battle. Carnival Horizon will introduce a handful of firsts for the line, including Guy's Pagan Anchor Smokehouse Brewhouse and the line's first teppanyaki restaurant, an expansion of the popular venue Bonsai Sushi. After Carnival Horizon's launch in Europe, the ship will reposition to New York for a summer for a 4-night Bermuda and 8-night Caribbean cruises. It will then head down to Miami for year-round Caribbean cruises beginning in September 2018. At least 2 cruise lines, Carnival Cruise Line and Royal Caribbean, have begun canceling shore excursions that involve ferries into Cozumel, Mexico, after the U.S. State Department issued a warning to U.S. tourists. The reason for the warning from the U.S. State Department was due to an explosion on a tourist ferry last month. Investigators later found an explosive device on board the ferry. On Thursday, 2 more explosive devices were found attached to another ferry in Cozumel. Royal Caribbean's Allure of the Seas is visiting Cozumel, Mexico today, and passengers received a letter stating that all shore excursions that involved taking a ferry were canceled. Passengers who booked shore excursions that involved taking a tourist ferry were refunded in the form of a credit to their onboard account. The cruise line included the following in the letter. We feel it's important to make you aware that the U.S. State Department today published a safety warning discouraging travel on tourist ferries in Cozumel. The U.S. State Department remains confident of the Mexican government's efforts to ensure the safety of all tourists in the country. However, in abundance of caution, we are canceling sponsored shore excursions that involve tourist ferries. We also discourage guests from taking part in independent excursions that involve tourist ferries. In a similar statement, Carnival had this to say. In an abundance of... Okay, yeah. Huh? Yeah, no, we're good. All right. In a similar statement, Carnival had this to say. In an abundance of caution, we have canceled all ship-sponsored tours that make use of ferries between Cozumel and Playa del Carmen, and we strongly are advising guests that ferries from Cozumel to the mainland be avoided. Sorry, I thought I saw a repeat sentence, and I was like, that can't be, but I just remembered it,
Yeah.
so.
You're
Alright.
just having a deja vu moment?
Yeah. Yeah, I was.
Old age moment?
A what?
Old age moment?
But you're the one that walked into this room and totally forgot why you were in here a few minutes ago, okay? So I don't know how bad your Alzheimer's is, but let me tell you something. Don't look sad at me right now, okay?
This is what I put up with. Now the behind the scenes camera, you guys can see this. See the abuse that I get?
Okay, don't think that he's like taking this abuse for anything. You're gonna forget it happened in a few minutes anyway.
See, and that way he abuses me all over again. See, this is what he does.
You called me fat for weeks on end. I just lost 13 pounds.
That's why I have video. It's like I play back and see him abusing me again and again and again.
Yeah, okay, I'm sure we have on that same video that it was something of you calling me pudgy or fat or like poking at my stomach and saying I was a Pillsbury Doughboy or something like that.
It's not there.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Anything.
Oh, and what about the recorded? What about that recording of you playing that freaking god awful song Agadoo? Worst, like every list I look at that says worst 100 songs or worst like 50 songs, it's always up there, like in the top 10. Mm-hmm. Always. It's a horrible song.
And it got you dancing.
Why would you do that?
Dancing.
Yeah, but why did you why didn't you just...
It's unusual.
We got that right. We got that right.
I'm evil.
Alright. And next week, our guest is Adrian from Cozumel Tours, so I'm sure we'll be... So I'm sure we'll be talking to him about this and answering your worries and concerns. So our cruise show and all the wonderful abilities that we have to bring in guests remotely wouldn't be possible at the level that we do it without VMix, blah, 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 VMix sponsor. That hasn't changed. I checked it. All right. Sydney is the state capital of New South Wales and the most populous city in Australia. Port Jackson, consisting of the waters of Sydney Harbour, Middle Harbour, North Harbour, and Lane Cove and the Parramatta Rivers, is the natural harbour of Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. The harbour is an inlet of the Tasman Sea, part of the Pacific Ocean. No, part of the South Pacific Ocean. Okay. It is the location of the Sydney Opera House and Sydney Harbour Bridge. The first people to inhabit the area, now known as Sydney, were Indigenous Australians having migrated from Northern Australia and before that from Southeast Asia. Radiocarbon dating suggests human activity first started to occur in the Sydney area around 30,735 years ago. The first meeting between native people and the British occurred on 29th of April 1770, when Lieutenant James Cook landed on Botany Bay in the Kurnell Peninsula and encountered the Gwenagal clan. The earliest British settlers called the natives Eora people. Eora is the term the indigenous population used to explain their origins upon first contact with the British. Its literal meaning is from this place. Sydney Cove, from Port Jackson to Petersham, was inhabited by the Cadigal clan. Cadigal, Jesus, these words. What'd you notice?
Go to your paper. Before there, the link to video, blank button on right.
Yeah. Well, I just ignored it anyway.
Okay, good.
I figured that was a note for you. So
yeah, but I don't want you sitting there waiting for video to come up. There isn't one.
No, not gonna.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Totally missed it out.
No, it's fine. I was gonna ignore it anyway.
Hey, just want to let you know.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome, because I'm such an amazing person, right?
He said evil earlier. Remember that. That part was the truth. He electroshocked me once. He did. No, I'm not. You electroshocked me.
You know?
You know how many friends I have? I have a few friends, okay? So, like, because I try to keep my circle small. But you know what? Out of all the people I've ever met in my life, you know how many people I met in my life? A lot. You know how many have ever electroshocked me? You. Okay, so that's it. You're the only one that's ever electroshocked me.
I can probably better it.
I don't want you to better it. I want you to go away. I'm mad at you now. I'm mad at you just thinking about the electroshocking. Pisses me off every time I think about it.
It was years ago.
I'm well aware of when it was. Okay, I know how long ago it was. I remember. I could probably find the exact date that it was. How many friends electroshock you? Does that happen? That doesn't happen. It's evil. Sydney Cove, from Port Jackson to Petersham, was inhabited by the Cardigal clan. England and Ireland had for a long time been sending their convicts across the Atlantic to the American colonies. That trade was ended with the Declaration of Independence by the United States in 1776. Between 1788 and 1792, about 4,300 convicts were landed at Sydney. The colony was not founded on the principles of freedom and prosperity. Maps from this time show no prison buildings. The punishment for convicts was transportation rather than incarceration, but serious offenses were penalized by flogging and hanging. The year 1840 was the final year of convict transportation to Sydney, which by this time had a population of 35,000. Gold was discovered on the colony in 1851, and with it came thousands of people seeking to make money. Sydney's population reached 200,000 by 1871. When Britain declared war on Germany in 1939, Australia too entered. During the war, Sydney experienced a surge in industrial development to meet the needs of a wartime economy. Far from mass unemployment, there were now labor shortages and women becoming active in male roles. Following the end of the war, the city continued to expand. There were 1.7 million people living in Sydney at 1950 and almost 3 million by 1975. Today, Sydney serves as a gateway for much tourism in Australia. Popular destinations include the Sydney Opera House, Sydney Harbour Bridge, Watson's Bay, the Rocks, Sydney Tower, Darling Harbour, the State Library of New South Wales, the Royal Botanical Garden, the Royal National Park, and the Australian Museum, and the Museum of Contemporary Art, the Art Gallery of New South Wales, the Queen Victoria Building, Sea Life Sydney Aquarium, Taronga Zoo, Bondi Beach, the Blue Mountains, and the Sydney Olympic Park. It is hot as hell in here. Oh my god. All right. What? Nope. Hold on. What? Yes. All right, hold on. Let me turn you up there. Okay, there we go. I can hear you much better. Yes, much better. That was your little alarm. There we go. Hi, Raymond. How are you?
I'm fine.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the show.
Can you hear,
Well,
can you hear me
welcome
good?
to the. Yes, I can hear you just fine. Here's Bird.
Okay.
Hey.
Hey, buddy. What's your?
So-
You're Joe?
I'm Joe. Yep, I'll be hosting the show tonight. So.
Okay. I
So,
met
well-
you before.
No, yeah, no. But yeah, no. So the show starts about 8 o'clock. Yeah, Bird was telling me a little bit about that you'd been cruising for. How many years has it been, Bird? Cool. Yes.
Hmm.
116 cruises. 116 cruises. Is that right, Raymond?
That is correct.
That is a lot of cruises. That's more than anyone in our studio has been on. I'm sure, like, yeah, probably combined, actually.
there's people that's been more than I mean.
Well, yeah, but most of those people work on the cruise ships.
Never mind. No way.
So,
So great, good stuff. Raymond, so I'm gonna let you and Joe chat. We've got about 20 minutes before the pre-show starts. So if you get to know each other and you can cover any questions.
yeah, we'll get that under control. Alrighty. So Raymond, in the show, I've got questions for you that'll come through. I've got some myself that I've written into the script, and then I
How
have
about calling me Ray? Okay.
Ray. Sure, absolutely. I'll call you Ray. So now I'll have some questions that I've written into the script for myself. And of course, there's questions like when our audience is watching the show, they send in their questions as well. So whatever questions they send in, like if they have any questions for you, they'll be able to ask you as well. Okay. All right. So I'll probably ask you about some of the cruises that you've been on, like some of what your favorite destinations might have been, or what your favorite ships might have been on, or to tell me about maybe the first cruise that you were ever on and what that was like compared to cruising nowadays. Also, like the furthest you've ever gone, like things like where is the furthest destination you've ever gone.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, can you hear me as well? Oh, I'm not sure you can hear me.
I can hear you, but it's hard to understand, so it's staticky.
Oh, it's static?
Yes.
Okay.
As if a cord.
Yes, I heard you, Bird. Okay, so I might ask you things like about your first cruise and what has changed since you started cruising to where cruising is now. Like your favorite things, maybe your favorite things about going on cruises, or your favorite places to visit, your favorite destinations. So I'll ask you about that. If you have any advice to give to first-time cruisers, or if you've ever cruised like during bad weather or had any unusual experiences on cruise ships. Let me see. Your favorite things to do when sailing. That's another good one.
What was that? Say that again.
Your favorite thing to do when you're sailing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I know. I understand that.
So,
Also, we want to know how things have changed over the years, since from when you first started cruising to today. What's the best things that have happened, and what's the worst? You know, what things have like deteriorated, or things that you miss from, you know, older years of cruising.
You want me to answer that now?
No.
Oh, yes.
I'm just saying that'll be one of the questions as well.
But that's going to be when we get live on the show. Okay.
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Yeah, we're just giving you a few so you can think about those.
Yeah. Is there anything that you want to make sure that you talk about while we're on the show, and I'll make sure that I bring it up to ask you?
No, I'll talk about certain things. In other words, we'll see what kind of questions that come up, and I can answer them if you wish me to do that.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, during our live shows, our guests will send in questions, and when they send in questions, I'll be able to relay them to you. That way, you can answer their questions live on the show.
Oh, I can't see the question.
It'll go up on the screen, but I'll say it out loud to you as well.
Okay.
So it'll pop up like underneath the screen on the bottom there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I understand.
Okay. Let me see now. So when we go live about 7:50, and when we go live, that's when we go into our pre-show. So that's about 10 minutes before the actual show starts, when people are actually starting to tune in, when they're pulling up Facebook and YouTube and Periscope and all their platforms that they watch the show on. So when they pull up So that way, when they pull that up, I get to talk with them a little bit and get them a little bit engaged into the show, and I'll let them know that about you, and that way they can start getting their questions ready for when we get to the interview. So we'll get to the interview. Let me see. When I get into the show, we do the photo of the week first. So we have a photo that we picked from one of the Facebook groups, and then we show that photo first, and we talk about that for a minute. We go to one sponsor.
I have with me. See what I have right here?
Yes,
I have
sir.
a list of every cruise that I've been on, every one of them. And the first beginning was the movement with the troops in the service during World War II, or right after. But after that, but I got one right in the middle during the Korean War, where I went to Hong Kong from Manila in the Philippines. And I can talk about that. That's very interesting.
Wow.
And that
Yeah,
happened
we're definitely going to talk about that. So that's like an entire.
That happened in 1952.
Wow. Brad, how do I turn my audio up on the headset? It's already up. A host funds is already all the way up. If you can give me a boost, that'd be great.
Yes.
Right, he's just got to turn my volume up on my headset. I can barely hear when he's talking, and
Turn that gain up like that.
didn't do anything.
Really?
Really,
Nothing?
nothing.
Try both earbuds. Because it's blasting out.
Well, maybe it's this one then. You gotta get new earphones, because that's what it is. It's this one that's working better than this one.
Okay.
Because this one's loud. This one's not. This one's not
Right.
so loud.
Let me make a comment. Be sure you ask the questions about who's my favorite cruise director.
I'll make a note of that.
That's very important. And she will be listening.
Of course she was, because she keeps commenting on my
Jamie
posts.
D.
I've noticed.
Have you met Jamie D in person?
Me? Many times.
Yeah, he's met her. I haven't met her in person. I've talked to her through
Jamie,
here.
how active she is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I talked to Jamie a bunch. Yeah. She was definitely my favorite as well.
Yes. I've cruised with her 10 times.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Right. I'll be right back, Ray.
Be quick.
Okay. Okay, Joe.
Yeah. Yeah, Jamie was like the first cruise director I ever met when I started cruising.
Yes, I've met her on the Sunshine, and I've cruised with her for 10 times now, and I'm leaving again on the 26th of this month.
Wow. Yeah, I met her. I think it was on the Sunshine as well, and we kept in contact ever since. So we've talked a lot. We've had her on the show. She was our first cruise director.
And in Panama,
we had
I was with her.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that was a journey cruise.
Mm-hmm. Nice, yeah. I love her energy.
Oh, God, you can't beat that.
No.
I go.
Well, you're coming close.
I won't disturb her. I go outside and watch her when she gets on the Paradise up on the stage. I just sit back and watch, and she knows that I'm out there. And just as soon as it's over with, she comes running to me. She is
right.
Oh, it's outstanding. You can't believe. And one time she met me I drove up my car in Tampa. She drove up. I drove my car. She was met at the curbside and met me.
Oh wow! Nice, excellent.
I think she was heading out to go get her nails done or something like that. But
yeah, one of those short periods that she gets. I know. Yeah, she's great. Love.
Yeah, I was on the ship. Yeah, I was on the ship with her. She 31st and 32nd birthday, both times.
Wow. Nice. Okay, here's Joe.
Alrighty. Go back. There we go. Now I can hear.
Who is this?
Hi, Ray.
Hello, who is this?
It's Joe again.
Okay, that's you. Okay.
Yes.
You changed clothes, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
That's right.
Well,
I didn't recognize
yeah, just to get ready for the show. Yeah.
you. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So that way,
you can't see. I got a St. Jude shirt on.
Oh, yeah. Is that Oh, that's one of the grew for St. Jude. That's Carnival, right?
Yeah, my Carnival. See, I raise it. See it, St. Jude.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So, how many different cruise lines have you been on?
Just about all of them except Disney. I have not been on Disney. But all the ones, I have a list of, as I said, I've got a list of all of them right here.
You've listed all so you have a list of all. So what was the first Yeah, I hear that bird.
I have a list. I'll have the list of the year. I don't have the dates, but I have the year showing the cruise line and the cruise ship.
How many different cruise lines were there?
How many days? And at the end, I have a accumulation of a number of days at sea. What?
Wow.
And for your information, that was 1,365 days at sea on a cruise ship.
1,365 days. That's that's around 4 years on a cruise ship.
Almost 4 years.
Yeah. Wow. So what was the longest consecutive cruise that you've been on?
72 days.
Was that all the way around the world?
No, left from United States and went into across the Pacific, China, Japan, China, and it ended up in Australia.
Wow, that's still quite a long cruise. We're going to be talking about
And I've been on to 155 days, and I've been on a lot of them. I like the long cruises. And lately, I've been doing the short ones.
So you prefer longer cruises to shorter cruises?
Oh yes, definitely. This one coming up on the 26th will be for 10 days, 2 5-days put together.
No, I just need to, when we go live, we need to put that in.
Oh, okay. So,
no.
Alrighty. Let me see. All right, Tom.
Speak.
Okay, I can hear you. All right, we're good. Awesome. Okay.
He's in Yahoo as well.
Who's in? Oh, Eric. Okay, good. So Ray, where are you doing the video from today?
Tonight?
Yes, sir.
You said, where am I going to be tonight?
Where you're doing the video? What city are you located in?
Ocoee.
Ocoee,
right next to Orlando.
Oh yeah.
Right,
well, I'm from Orlando, so yeah, that works. We're in Tampa right now, but I lived in Orlando for years.
Yeah, you're in Tampa. And are you originally from this area, maybe?
I'm originally from Lakeland, but I lived in Orlando. I lived in Orlando for the past 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're near my neighborhood.
Where that is. That's just 10 miles west of downtown Orlando.
Yeah, that's right. Cool. We have another local on the show. That's awesome.
I might be old, but I got a pretty good brain.
You can tell.
We can tell. That we can tell.
Yeah, I just had my 98th birthday on January the 30th.
Wow. And you're still cruising. You're still going on cruise ships.
I'm not stopping. I've got 3 booked ahead right now.
Nice.
So Ray, What is the secret to a long life? Because I want to know. I'm coming up on
Love.
50, so. Love?
Love.
Love?
I love people.
Ah, people in general. Got it.
I don't complain. I just back off and
this is
do their
good.
thing.
So, not so much stress then.
No, if you stay and discuss something that they're thinking of, and you know it's wrong, no use in getting involved. Just back away and go and leave them alone. That's what
Right, you got better things to do.
I keep my own opinion. If they don't like if they want to know my opinions, I'll give it to them. But if they don't want to listen, I'll back away.
Excellent. Good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just got a couple of minutes before we're going to the pre-show. So Joe's just doing a couple of last-minute things, and then we're going to go live.
I'll discuss that, and I'm going to tell you about going from Manila to. It was on a military control type cruise, and all type of military left Manila, and we to Hong Kong, and we were allowed to bring our families with us, and we bought furniture and brought it back to Manila. I was stationed in the Air Force at Clark Air Force Base, I should say. It was not. There is no base outside the United States. It's called Air Force Base. It's called Air Base. They leave out the word.
Interesting. Okay, we got 2 minutes, right? 2 minutes, and then we're going to go to our pre-show. You'll be able to hear everything that's going on.
This will not be live to the public, will it? No.
Yeah, not now.
Not now, but in 2 minutes we will be.
Later on, I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
And then at 8
Can you
o'clock sharp
recognize
is when the
my
main
face
show
with a
starts. Sorry? Say again, Ray?
You waiting for 7:50?
Yeah.
It's 48. I see the clock down below. Some people might ask me, what have I got here? This is my rings of my wife and myself. She passed away in 2011.
Oh, wow.
And
so you had a long life together.
We're 69 years now we lived together.
Wow. That's great. Okay, Joe, we're going to get ready?
Yep, ready when you are.
Go to the screen.
Alright, let me know when we're live.
When this goes red, we're live, okay?
When the stream part goes red?
Okay. And then I'm going to go over there and switch the feed, okay?
Okay. It's hot in here.
You're hot. It's cold. It's cool in here.
I wish I was in there then. Okay.
7:50.
Yep. And here we go.
Alright, let me know when. There, I'm watching. And it looks like, and we're live. All right, welcome to the show, Cruisers Old and New. Thank you for joining me on a lovely Saturday night. For those of you joining in, we have our question of the day ready for you guys. What is the total number of cruises that you've done, or in days or cruises? I'll tell you what. Our guest tonight is Ray Boudreau, and he honestly, I'm going to be willing to bet that Ray has done more cruises and more days on a cruise ship than you have. But we're going to talk to Ray about that a little later. In the meantime, be sure to get your questions ready for Ray if you have any questions for someone who's been cruising for such a long time, because we're going to get to his interview later in the show. Oh, also tonight, guys, we're going to be talking about the history of Sydney, Australia, a port that you may or may not have been to yet. I'm not sure, but either way, we talked, 2 weeks ago? Last time I was on the show, we talked about Sydney, Australia, when Australia in general, with Oh, who was our guest? Lee Mason that week. Yes, Lee Mason told us all about Australia after his 6 months as cruise director over there. And it was quite interesting. So it kind of made me want to learn more about Sydney, and that's why our history segment is going to be on Sydney this week. Oh, I see people coming in. Richard Ashley, welcome. Hi, how are you? Vincent Sorletti says 13. 13 cruises, Vincent? Is that 13 cruises that you've been on? Charisse Colley, good evening, Ray, Joe, and Bird. So excited for this show. Charisse, we're glad to have you back. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us every Saturday. Rita, cheers, Rita. Welcome to the show. I saw Guy Davis was watching our behind-the-scenes camera earlier. I don't know if you guys know this, but behind me, right there, that little blue light is our behind-the-scenes camera. So it's kind of like a setup of all the screens that I've got in front of me and all the behind-the-scenes stuff that goes on here. So if Guy Davis was watching earlier, Guy, if you're switching over, I know you always join me for a drink on Saturday. So cheers to you. You always have your vodka and lemonade. So cheers to you, and let me know how many cruises you've been on. Brenda Lee Bible, good evening from Ohio, Brenda. Well, good evening from Florida. Are we even in the same time zone, Brenda? I'm not sure if that's... I think you might be one hour behind us, so 7 Central, right? Richard Ashley, good question. Richard actually asked what I'm drinking tonight. Richard, I'm still on my low-carb diet, so and I've lost 13 pounds so far. So I'm actually doing really good. So so I'm sticking with a low-carb drink. I'm doing a plain vodka and soda tonight. So it's a cruise show. We got to be a little bit light and happy, right? So I'm kind of sticking with that until I got a few more pounds to go. I'm almost there. I'm almost at my goal. So after I quit working out and doing all that, I started gaining weight and everything. So it's you got to do that once in a while, guys. I see more people coming in. For those of you just coming in, post your answer in the comments to our question of the day. What is the total number of cruises that you've been on? And you can answer in days or cruises. And I'm going to be willing to bet that you have not done more days on a cruise ship or more cruises than our guest tonight, Ray. I'm pretty sure however many cruises you've been on or how many days you've been at sea, Ray has you outnumbered. And also get your questions ready for Ray, who we're going to be talking to later. Guys, he's been cruising for many years. Let me see. I think it was... Oh, how many years was it? 72 years. 72 years he's been cruising. So I guarantee he's had more days on a cruise ship than you have. Brenda Lee, yep, behind 1 hour. I thought so. I thought you were about behind 1 hour in Ohio. So Richard Ashley, 15 cruises. I see you said Richard Ashley says he's been on 15 cruises. Rita Bollert says she's been on 12 cruises. All right. These are some good numbers, guys. Both answers, both 14 and 12. That's more than I've been on. Jamie D, welcome to the show, Jamie. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good night too. Jamie, we got a surprise for you on tonight. So cheers to you too. Yep, I guess that's true, Bird. Bird's talking in my ear, guys. So if I ever look like I'm talking to the voices in my head, it's not. I've got this little earpiece, and it's Bird actually talking. Well, Jamie, that's not quite fair. Ray, I'll have to say this. Jamie says she might have you beaten cruises, but Jamie, you work on a cruise ship, so that's not quite fair. That's not entirely. I mean, first, let me see what beaten years of cruising. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think so. I don't. Yeah, maybe not in that many years. Yeah, but. I know she's gotten beaten probably days, but that's when you work on a cruise ship. That's how it is. I get that.
10 years.
So there's Guy Davis. Guy Davis is joining in on YouTube. Says making dinner, change of drink tonight. Captain Morgan and Coke in a rum. Oh, in a rum mood. Okay, I see. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that. You switch it up once in a while. Cheers, Guy. You always join me for a drink on Saturday. Oh, 4 minutes to pre-show. So, guys, if you haven't shared the video out yet, that's something that I like to always do together. So, if you guys want to share this video out with me, all right, so you go to your Facebook page and you look us up, CruiseWeek TV. We're right here. I'll show you. And we'll share it out together. Oh, if it'll load. Okay, there we go. My phone's running just a little bit behind, so here's what we do. So we go to Facebook, CruiseWeek TV, and you can see the show on your live on your device on Facebook. And then we're going to click this little third button over here. Oh, you can kind of see it. The green screen effect is hitting us, but that one that says share. We click that share button. I'm going to write a post. Join us tonight. If you guys are on my Facebook, you'll see it, I'm sure. For CruiseWeek.tv. And I'll put like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exclamation points because exclamation points are awesome. All right, and then we click that little post button right there. It's up in that corner. You probably can't see it on the screen, but that's okay. I'm going to click it anyway, and then it's going to show up on my Facebook, and then that sends the show out there and shares with everyone on my friends list, on my news feed, anyone that follows me on there. So yeah, so that's a good way to get the show out there, and we'll get more viewership that way, and we'll have more people asking Ray questions later tonight. So it's gonna be a very exciting show. I'm very much looking forward to tonight's show. Guy Davis looks like you switched over to Facebook. Yep, Guy, I saw you switch. I saw you said were having Captain Coke tonight. Brenda Lee Bible, welcome. Thank you so much for sharing the video, guys. After you share the video, or even you can do this before you share the video. If you can hear me all right, and how about if you like my shirt, hit that little thumbs up button. If you don't like my shirt, still hit that little thumbs up button. Just do it anyway. It's fun. I just like seeing the thumbs up button go across the screen. It's fun for me. Joyce Richardson, hello. How are you tonight? Are you doing all right? Kevin Lubier, welcome. He says, have been back on the, from the glory and vista for 10 days and so ready to go back. You know, Kevin, I'll tell you what. After a vacation, I find most people need a vacation from their vacation. My boss at my day job actually was on a cruise last week, and the entire time, like, I mean, he got back from the cruise, and he says he still feels like the ship is rocking, even though he's on land. I think he has that, what is it, that land sickness thing. I don't know, have you ever had that land sickness, you know, where you get off the ship and you still feel a rocking motion for the next week or so? Anyway, that's what's going on with him. Heidi Leskin, welcome back to the show. Yeah, Ray's got some great stories for us tonight. So if you have any questions for Ray, Ray's been cruising for about 72 years. So, I mean, if you have any questions, be sure to get them ready because we're going to get to him later. Yeah, Jamie says my shirt looks like a pirate. She says that's perfect for a cruise show, Bird. Isn't that? Yeah, I never thought of that before. I think that's kind of cool. And I thought it was. Well, thank you, Jamie D. Richard actually likes my shirt too. It's, you know how much the shirt cost me? It was like $5. It wasn't expensive, but I loved it. So I thought it was very much well worth the value because it was different. So anyway, thank you so much, and thank you, Joyce. Joyce said she loves my shirt too. Celia, yes, I have. Celia says she thinks it might be my favorite shirt because she's seen me wear it a couple times. You know, I have worn this shirt quite a few times on the show before. I have one in white as well. I think I want to go get more in white and dye them your favorite colors. If you guys have a favorite color, I'll wear it on the show. Just let me know what color that is, and I'll bring it on. Jason Tyler, yeah, refrain from making any pirate jokes. Yeah, very funny, sir. Nikki's going out on May 12th on the Triumph. Well, Nikki, you're going to have a great time on the Triumph. It is a pretty cool ship. And I got about 10 seconds left till showtime, guys. So I'm going to take one more sip of beverage before the show begins. Cheers to all of you, and cheers to a great show. There we go. All right. On tonight's show, we're going to be talking to Ray, who at 98 years old is possibly the world's oldest active cruiser. We have the latest cruise news, and I have a fun segment on the history of cruising, plus our fun photo of the week. And it might feature one of you, so you guys might want to stay tuned, because this is CruiseWeek.tv Live. Our show this week is brought to you by the folks at Good Memories Travel and by vMix. Hey everyone, I'm Joe, and welcome to another fun show all about cruising and cruise ships, where I get to talk to some amazing people in the cruising industry and put your questions to them. Now, I'm still a fairly new cruiser, but with the help of the experts that we bring on the show each week, we all get to learn how to make your first cruise or next cruise that much better. Now, this week, we get to talk to someone who's been on many, many more cruises than, honestly, more than I have, and I think more than Bird has. I think more than anyone in our studio combined. And he's possibly the world's oldest cruiser. And no, if you're thinking about this, no, this isn't John Heald. Okay, this week we're going to be talking to Ray Boudreau, who at 98 years old is still an active cruiser. But before we get to Ray and let him answer your questions, let's first take a look at our photo of the week. Now, our photo of the week this week comes from Cruise Photos and Videos group. Yes, there is actually an entire group out there dedicated to posting great cruise videos and photos. Now, this one comes from Amanda Smith and features her 2 children enjoying time off at the port of the ship. And it's a great background, really. I think that's I'm not sure if that's like a regular cartoon character or some kind of a jester. Either way, it looks like they're having a great time. It's a great background. And you guys, remember, you can send a cruise photo into photos@cruiseweek.tv if you want to be on our photo of the week, or you can wait to see us post a request for photos in your favorite Facebook cruise group. So, now, we all like to save money when we're booking a cruise, don't we? Well, here's one super easy way to do that. Use a travel agent. Good Memories Travel is the one that we recommend. Now, when Debbie saw the hard work that we were putting in to bring you all the cruise news and information to help others, she wanted to help and support us, and we would ask you to support her next time you book a cruise. Good Memories Travel is a full-service travel agency that offers you cash back and incentives that you wouldn't get booking directly with the cruise lines, so why would you pay more for less? You can call or visit Good Memories Travel on the web, and it costs you nothing to compare a price and see the superior service and extras you get when you go through Debbie and her team for your next cruise vacation. They cover all the cruise lines. And if you're a new cruiser, they can even suggest the best ship and cruise to suit your cruising style. So give Debbie a call or visit their website today and see how much easier and cheaper it can be. Debbie can be reached directly at 321-338-2953 and, of course, through their website at goodmemoriestravel.com. So we often feature cruise directors, port tour guides, and people who work on or around the cruise lines. And tonight, we wanted to switch it up a bit. Tonight, we get to talk to one of the cruise passengers, but after 116 cruises, he probably knows more than most of the crew. And what makes our guest extra special is that he's been cruising for over 72 years. And at 98 years old, he shows no signs of slowing down anytime soon. So I can't wait to hear some of the cruising stories, as I know you guys probably can't wait either. So welcome to the show, Ray. How are you doing tonight?
Very well. I'm well.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us from all the way from Ocoee, Florida. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How long ago was your first cruise, and where did that go?
My first cruise, of course, was with the military. I traveled overseas. However, during the station in the Philippines, I had the occasion to go on a ship with all military personnel, which was paid for by them. And we went from Manila in the Philippines to Hong Kong. And while we stayed there for about 12 days, I think, total of the whole cruise. And while we were there, we was able to buy things that were made in Hong Kong. And I purchased a set of carved furniture, a chow table and a liquor cabinet and things like that. And I brought it back to my home in the Philippines. I was stationed at Clark Air Base. That was my first cruise that was considered a cruise. The others, the earlier part was in the military, where it was transferred the military to bases overseas.
Wow. So you bought all that furniture from Hong Kong, brought it back to your home in the Philippines. Is that furniture still around today, or did you get rid of that a while back?
It has been disappeared. I don't know where it went. I forgot, but I don't have it anymore.
Oh, that's a shame. But it would probably be some really cool stuff. It might be worth a pretty penny by now to people who like to do antiques. So,
I wish I had it. It would have been worth a lot of money.
I'm sure it would be. So now that was your first cruise. So I see you have one of your, I think it's a cruise shirt. Would you show us the shirt that you've got on? It looks like it's a
Yes,
yep.
Jamie will recognize this.
Groove for St. Jude. Yeah, it's a.
I made donation to St. Jude, and they gave me a shirt.
Very nice, and you got a necklace on there too. What's on your necklace around your neck?
Oh, this is a chain that holds my ring for myself and my wife. She's deceased now. She left me in 2011, but I have her ring right here, and I wear it around my neck all the time, except when I go to bed.
That's very nice. Now, did she like to cruise with you often as well?
She cruised with me all the time until she passed away. Yes.
Well, I guess in a way, I guess you could say she still kind of cruises with you when you take that with you on the cruise ship.
Yes, she passed away in 2011, and on her deathbed, she told me to continue cruising.
Very good. And you obviously haven't stopped. So you've still been going. 116 cruises so far. That's quite an impressive number. And honestly, like that's more than any. I don't know if that's more than anyone that's been watching the show, but that is quite a day. How many days total was that on the 116 cruises?
Hang on. That's 1,300 and. Let's start again. It's 1,365 days.
1,365 days. I think we did the math on that, and it's like that's probably around 4 years, maybe a little over on cruising.
4 years divided by 365. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of cruise time. That's a lot
days
of time
at sea.
That's days at sea. Yeah, that's a lot of days at sea. It's definitely longer than I think anyone in our studio has been on cruise ships. So for sure. So and with no signs of slowing down either. That's pretty impressive. So what about the longest cruise that you've ever been on? How many days at sea was that?
I was on the Regal Princess, and it was 4 back-to-backs, and it was a total of 72 days from the United States and ending in Sydney, Australia.
Dude, that's quite a long. 72 days is a long time. That's a long time to be on a ship. Did you have? What did you do on that cruise?
What I do? Well, we went into different ports, and I take excursions. My wife was with me, and we went in and saw wherever it went. We went ashore and did tours or by ourselves, and we had a good time. It was great. I didn't want to leave the ship.
So we have some questions coming in from our viewers on Facebook. Let me see. Let's see. We'll start with Jamie D, cruise director Jamie D. What are the biggest?
Jamie.
I know you guys know each other. So what are the biggest changes in vacation cruises since you started cruising?
Well, it started out with small ships, and I like the small ones. Then it went to the big ones. And there was as they got big, yet got more people. And of course, I'm a people lover, including Jamie D. But it changes, of course, you put more shows. They have more production shows than they did way back in the beginning. And the food hasn't changed, so it was good all the way. So,
very nice.
What else?
So now we have another one from Richard Ashley. Now, Richard Ashley wants to know, what's your favorite cruise line and cruise ship that you've ever been on?
Oh, that's a hard question. Jamie don't like this, but I like Princess Cruises, which is owned by Carnival. But I've been on Carnival Princess for 35-day cruises, and I fell in love with Princess Cruises because they travel the world, more places than the Carnival does. Okay,
so your favorite is Princess because they travel the world. Is there a favorite ship that you have?
I like them all. I don't want to verify. I wish I could say, but right now, let's say I like the Paradise.
The Paradise.
Jamie D.
Alrighty.
Paradise.
That's a very good answer. So we have another one coming in from let's see, Erica Brennaugh. She wants to know Why does Ray miss most on cruises? Oh, what do you miss most on cruises from years ago versus cruising now? What is it that you miss most?
That's a hard question. I don't understand exactly what she means by that.
Well,
Uh,
since there have been a lot of changes over the years on cruise ships, what is it that you miss about maybe cruising years ago that they might not have anymore?
well, we had fewer cruisers, passengers, and I was able to become acquainted with them closely. For now, they got thousands aboard, and I can't meet everybody, but I love people. But I liked it then because we had less people on the cruises.
Okay, so you prefer less crowded cruises overall?
Yes.
Okay, that's quite all right. I understand. It's same here, honestly. It can make it easier to get around a little bit when there's less of a crowd, for sure.
That's true.
Yeah. So the furthest. What about the furthest distance that you've ever gone on a single cruise?
Oh, distance. I suppose the distance would be the one that was on for 72 days, at least from the United States and ending in Sydney, Australia. I think that's about the longest. However, I've been through some from starting from Turkey and Europe and ending in Cape Town in South Africa. Those are pretty long ones, and I've been quite a few. I can't remember them all. Got them all written down here on my sheet of paper.
Is that that paper that you're going through? That's where they have all the you have a lot of questions, or I mean a lot of the cruises on there?
Yes, I have all of them. I have all 116 of them. It's three pages. I think Jamie D has a copy of it.
Oh. Could you show us show the audience the pages? No, just the wow.
That's page 1.
Look at that, how they're all listed out too. That's so cool.
And there's the last page.
That is so cool. That must have taken you so much time to come up with that list. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty awesome. So you've been 116 cruises is more than I think a lot of people ever get to do in their entire lifetimes. Do you have any?
People have been more places, more longer than that though. They're out there.
Oh yeah, they can be out there, but most of those people that have been on more cruises than 116 are people who work for cruise lines, aren't they?
No, these are passengers I'm talking about, and I met them, but I don't know who they were. Don't remember who they were. I remember I remember 98 years old, so I don't remember everything, but I try.
Well, that's okay. I'm not quite 98, but I don't remember everything either. It happens. Bert, on the other hand, he's like a million years. Bird is actually a million years old. He doesn't remember anything from one minute to the next, right, Bird? I'm only teasing. Okay. Yeah, that's where you at 98 years old, still going on cruise ships. Are there some activities on a cruise ship that you still look forward to doing?
Yes, I like to see the production shows. And the last cruise we was on with Jamie, there we had bad weather and we missed and had to cancel 2 of the production shows. I love to see the production shows, and some of them was outstanding. Some of them I've seen them more than once because I like them so well.
Awesome. So you like the production shows? Any shows in particular?
There's one that I can remember not too long ago. I think it's called Nick, and it was outstanding. I think it was on the Paradise. I believe. I don't remember now. Okay. Jamie will probably know that.
So, well, Jamie's had some questions for you tonight too. She does want to know how many kids or grandkids that you have.
Oh, last count I had 18 grandchildren and 17 great grandchildren, and I think it's a couple on the way.
Well, that's quite a family. Jamie, now you also told me earlier that you have a favorite cruise director. You want to tell us who that is?
Jamie D.
That's awesome. And Jamie's a favorite of a lot of people.
Yes. She's ranked #1 of all the cruises, in my opinion. A lot of other people do the same.
So why is Jamie one of your favorite cruise directors?
She's a personality. She loves to talk to people, and she treats them well. And of course, she's got a lot of energy, and I like people with energy.
That's definitely a good reason, and we like Jamie for having that energy too. So we have another question coming in from Facebook. This one is from Joyce Richardson. She wants to know, I know you've made many friends on your cruises. Do you keep in contact with any of them?
Quite a few, yes, but not too often. But I have about 700 on my address book in the computer, and I do keep track of quite a few. We used to have I still do have a website called CruiseMates. And I talk to them. We have chats and we talk to each other. And I'm keeping track of quite a few in several countries, not only the United States, but Canada and in Europe, and even in South Africa.
Wow. So do you keep in touch with them all by just email, or do you like write to them letters?
Mostly emails. There's one in Israel that I do by letter. And she's great. She was with me in China. I've had a lot of land cruises in addition to all these cruises on the ships. Land cruises. I've traveled all over Europe, every country in Europe, and I met a couple in Bali, which where Jamie was just at. And I met a couple, and I visited her in Grand Cayman, and she lives there now. But I got a long story about her.
Very good. Now you mentioned all these places that you've been to, and you mentioned Israel, you mentioned Europe, you mentioned South Africa. Of all the places, do you have any favorite ports that you've visited?
Well, that's a hard question to answer it too. I can remember flying into Johannesburg, Africa, and we was on a safari, and we went all the way there to the coast of South Africa and all the way down to Cape Town. And I love the places down there. I love that part of the country, of the world.
Yeah, South Africa is definitely something that people tell me it's a different part of it's very interesting. Do you have any over the years? Have you had any mobility issues trying to get around on any of the ports or with the cruise ships?
Oh, yes, I do. I cannot walk, but I can't walk very far. So I have a scooter that I bring aboard, and I use a scooter for all over the ship. And I keep it in my room. Of course, I have to have a handicapped room in order to get the scooter through the doors. And I travel with it. And Jamie knows all about that too.
Well, that certainly doesn't discourage you from getting around. Obviously, 98 or 116 cruises and counting. You're still going at it. That's pretty good.
I'm not quitting. I'm going on. I got 3. I'm looking for to book one in July, which I haven't booked, but I'm booked in April. And of course, I'm booked in about 3 weeks. On the March of 26th with Jamie on the Paradise for 2 5-day cruises back to back.
So it's nice that you still have quite a nice itinerary planned. So now,
I try to book way in advance, and I can be able to select the cabins that I would like to have. And if I don't, then somebody else is going to beat me to
them. So now, with you, I can't imagine. I don't see too many people around 98 cruising anymore. That's is there any advice that you'd like to give to other senior cruisers?
Well, don't forget your passport. Very important. I've known people that get to the port and they left the passport at home. That's a very important thing. Have that passport. If you don't, you're not going to go. And when you get aboard the ship, find where the tours on on the ship of where the ship is going to go, and book your tours in advance because they have a limitation on how many people can go on the buses. So that's very important. And then look around the ship to be sure and locate where all you're going to go, where your dining room is, where the theater is, and where the special restaurants are going to be, because it's very important. You can get lost, and they'll give you a kind of a diagram, a deck plan, so you'll know where everything is, and keep that with you for the first day until you get familiar with the ship. Then you'll know where you're going.
Very nice. And we got more questions coming in. Ray, we got a lot of people on Facebook. A lot of questions for you. Heidi Leskin wants to know: do you travel alone, or do you go with a family or in a group?
I always have somebody with me because of my age. I have traveled by myself, but no, I have somebody with me. Right now, I've got a person going with me, which Jamie has met on our first cruise.
Awesome.
She will be with me. Oh. Excuse me. And I bring somebody, at least a man or a lady. It doesn't matter.
Well, very good. And that's good. Like I think it's better to travel with somebody anyway. If you want the company, that's
yes.
It makes it a little less lonely.
It's very important to have somebody in case something happens to you, that they can be able to take care of you through medical or whatever.
This is true. And Misty Wright on Facebook, and then we always get these questions too. Now, and seeing that you've been on so many cruises, she wants to know what is one of your favorite cruise meals that you've had.
Cruise meals?
Yeah, we often get questions about food.
There is no food that's served aboard the ship that I do not like. I don't have any particular one. I can't answer that.
That's okay. Honestly, I find it it gets to be a hard question to answer after a while too, because there's so much. I've always experienced so much good food on cruise ships. I don't think I've ever had a really bad meal on a cruise ship. So I can understand that's something that.
That's right.
Oh, somebody wants to know if you like the chocolate melting cake on the cruise ship on Carnival.
I like chocolate, but I'd rather have something else. Chocolate is not my favorite drink, but I do drink it once in a while. I'll drink a lot of coffee.
I think he was talking about the cake, not chocolate, like hot chocolate.
Oh yes, I drink hot chocolate, but it's not my favorite.
Oh goodness! So we have Jamie. I'm so sorry. That threw me off just a little bit. All right. Yeah. There's So would you give any advice to any first-time cruisers that have never cruised before?
Yes, I'll tell you that passports are very important, and be able to meet people. That's very important. Enjoy the activities going on. There will be a list of programs going on, all style ships, regardless of what cruise line you're on. There is a document that shows what's happening, and check off the things. You can't see them all. There's too many. So check off the ones that you want to go to, and be sure you go early so you'll be able to get a good seat wherever this being held.
So Richard Ashley on Facebook also wants to know what's one of your favorite islands that you've been to?
Oh, islands. That's hard to answer. I like them all. I can't answer that. I don't know.
Oh.
I like them all.
No.
Ones.
Okay, so no particular one that you like to go to more than any of the others?
No, I won't say. I just, as I told you before, I like them all.
That's okay. Yeah, that's quite all right. Have you ever had anything? This one's also from Richard Ashley. Have you ever had anything unfortunate to happen to you on a cruise?
Yes, I have. Once I remember very well, I got a terrible rash in my whole body, and I had to go to the medics, and they kept me down there a couple of days until they got it cured. That was very bad. And then I can remember I was on a small ship. I can't remember the name of it, and my wife fell down the stairs, and she got hurt, and we took care of it. But I never did have to evacuate and come home. Always the medics aboard was able to take care of all my ailments. But I have not been to the medics in several years. I've been pretty well.
So that was something very unfortunate. But what about weather? Have you ever had any trouble with weather where they've had to maybe deter a cruise ship, or it caused excessive rocking, that seasickness?
Oh, yes. Let me tell you two occasions. I was on a cruise, and we left the Washington, Seattle, I think it was, and went to uh, up to Alaska and through the islands. And after we left the last island, we was heading to northern Japan. We had weather, and it was bad. We were diving into the seas. If the seas was completely coming over the bridge and the whole ship, that was pretty bad. And then one other time, I was cruising down the coast of South America, and we was going toward Chile, Santiago, Chile, and the weather got so bad that everybody in the stern of the ship and everybody in the forward part of the ship came to the center to sleep on couches, floors, and everything. It was bad. We had bad weather. Those are two occasions that I can remember that we had. The rest of it, I've never been seasick in my life, though.
Well, the lack of seasickness is very fortunate, but those stories, it's something that I couldn't imagine on having it happen on any cruise ships today. I mean, but then again, like you've said, the cruise ships have gotten bigger over the years, but you still prefer the smaller ones?
Not necessary. I'm going on the small ship right now because the Paradise has to get onto the Skyline Bridge. But I go on the Magic, the Breeze, and the Dream, and some of the other ships on the Pacific, the Princess ships, and Norwegian ship, and Royal Caribbeans. I've been on all of them, and I like the. I was on the Allure with some friends, and we had a good time on the Allure of the seas.
Very good. So do you now, with all the things that you did mention that happened, would you be someone that would recommend getting travel insurance or cruise insurance?
Yes, I have insurance that I keep annually. I pay for it by the year, and yes, uh, everybody needs insurance because you'll never know what's going to happen. Uh, So yes, I recommend everybody get a travel insurance because if something happens to you, you've got to get home, and the insurance will pay for it if you've got insurance. So, but if you don't, then you might get stuck overseas somewhere. But yes, insurance is very important.
What are some of the benefits that you get from carrying cruise insurance, travel insurance with you?
Benefits is unfortunate. I've never had to use it. I've never. So I can't tell you the answer to that. I've never had to use it, but I've got it.
So
I pay for it by annual.
Okay,
and it covers the transportation of myself live and somebody to accompany with me. And if I'm dead, they'll send my body back to my home, wherever it goes, paid for by the insurance. So it's best. You never know what's going to happen when you get out of the country.
I suppose that is true. Yeah, I suppose that is true. So you are someone that would recommend travel insurance. That's good to know. Misty Wright on Facebook wants to know any excursions that you'd say that are a must do.
Well, for a first time cruiser, I can't hardly answer that because look through the a list of cruises that are available and select what you want to do. In other words, I can't read people's minds. They have to determine what they want to do, whether it be in the water, on land, or sightseeing, or whatever. But be sure you do them because I myself, I don't tour anymore. I stay on the ship mostly, but I'll go shopping. And but yes, be a get a tour and book real early.
Okay. What about any excursions that you might have done that were things that you really enjoyed?
Yes, I was just on one not too long ago with my daughter, and we went to Cuba, and we saw all of Havana, and it was very interesting. I enjoyed that. We had a little rain, but it was good.
Was it one of the History of Havana like tours, or was it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was on the Paradise.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, we hear a lot of good things about Havana, and I've seen pictures. It seems to be like one of those very like all the cars seem very old style. They, like the cars are all older. The buildings look very old. Did you have any culture shock?
Yeah, I put on Facebook pictures of my tour, I think, and it shows the old cars, the old buildings, and the convertibles. The convertibles are owned by the government, and they hire drivers to drive them, and they use them as taxis. And the taxis take you anywhere you want to go.
Wow, I learned something new about Cuba today. I never would have I never would have known that. So Sharice Colley on Facebook wants to know over the years if you've met any famous people, Ray.
Say that again. What?
Sharice Colley on Facebook wants to know if you've met any famous people.
Oh yes. I can't remember his name, but he's passed away now. But several years ago, I met one of the famous Hollywood actors. He's a man, older man, and I wish I could remember his name, but I can't. But yes, I have.
And was that on a cruise ship that you met him, or?
Yes, it was on a cruise ship. I can't remember which one right now, but he was a famous actor, and he's passed away now. But I can't remember the name. After all, what do you expect out of me?
Well, that's quite all right, Ray. That's no big deal. So another question from Facebook. RJ Aruba wants to know if you've ever been to Aruba.
Aruba? Oh, yes. I can remember some of my family was with me not too long ago when I had my 100th cruise. And the Chamber of Commerce of Aruba arranged for a dinner table in a restaurant in the town. I forgot what the name of it is, but it's the big town of Aruba. And we met and we had a good time. Yes, Aruba is nice.
Yeah, that's so you got to go off the island and go to the major city there. Oh, we got another question on Facebook from Richard Atchley. He wants to know if you drink at all.
Yes, I drink water. Yes, I drink. I drink scotch, and I drink. Lately, I've been drinking margaritas before dinner. Before dinner, I go to the bar and have me one margarita and go out for dinner. That's it.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Intoxicated.
That's all right. I read like just the other day that the Queen of England drinks 4 cocktails a day. So I figure if it's good enough for the Queen, it's good enough for the rest of us. So.
Oh yes. Yes, I always go to the captain's party and I have a couple of drinks there. They're free.
The captain's party, is that? Forgive me, I haven't been on as many cruises as everyone else. It's what now?
Yeah, it was free. It's complimentary from the captain.
Oh, that's for platinum.
They only do that for the higher category type people. For Carnival, it's the diamond and the platinum. I couldn't remember the other platinum. I forget about things.
That's okay. I didn't know about it at all. So I learned something new today. So you've got a platinum cruise. You've got your platinum status
No,
on
I
Carnival.
have diamond. I'm a
Yeah,
diamond.
yeah. What about on other cruise lines? Do you have a lot of you have a high status
Yes.
on any?
I'm an elite princess. You have so many. They go by the number of cruises on Princess, and by number of days. And Carnival goes by number of days.
All right.
But yes, the other ships, I'm low category. I haven't been on many. There are many because I'm mostly a Carnival and the Princess.
Okay, so Royal Caribbean, really haven't earned so much of a status on there as you did on the other ships. Then is that correct?
Not yet. I've been on several of their cruises, but not enough to get a category which is high.
Okay. Oh, sorry, nothing wrong with that. I think everyone's got their, everyone has preferences when it comes to that. Another question came in on from Misty Wright on Facebook. She wants to know the type of stateroom that you normally get, and it's I know it's getting to be it's after 8:30, so we're going to take a few more questions from Facebook and YouTube. If anyone else has more, feel free to send them in. So, which type of stateroom do you normally get?
I have had all. I've had inside, I've had outside, I've had balconies, and I've had suites. So, coming the 26th of March and the 31st of March this year, and about 3 weeks from now, I have a suite, which is a handicap, the only handicap suite on the Paradise. I've had them all.
So, which of those ones that you've had, which do you prefer, and why?
Oh, the suite.
The suite. Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. Is that because of it comes with more amenities?
Yeah, it costs more money, but I enjoy it quite a bit. Or sometimes I can't get this higher category of a cabin, so I take whatever they got in order to get on the ship.
Very good.
Getting on the ship is the most important thing.
I think I would agree with that, because once you're on the ship, you're already having fun, right?
That's right. And if you don't have a good time when you're on your ship, it's your own fault.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good way to look at it. I like that. Charisse Colley on Facebook wants to know, do you miss like the tuxedos, chocolate nights, midnight buffets, and all the fruit cravings, etc.?
Tuxedos? I used to wear tuxedos quite a while, but they're outgrown them or something. I use a regular suit with a tie for when we have elegant nights or formal nights, whatever they call it on the ship. And I dress casually whenever they have a casual, and I'll dress up when they ask for it.
I think Charisse was more referring to the way Carnival used to have on the ships the tuxedos and the chocolate nights and midnight buffets. A while back when Carnival was that had to be toward the early days of Carnival, correct?
Yeah, early days they required you to get dressed up more. They've become more reluctant now, and they let you dress more or less like you want to. But I used to go way back in the days when we had tuxedos and evening dresses for the ladies, and we dressed up. But now they've become more casual. Practically all the ships. There is some of the elite cruise lines now. They do require you to dress every night. I was on the Queen Elizabeth II once, and we had to dress up every night on it. I went around South America. I started from up to the north and went all the way around and come back to San Diego, I believe it was. And they required to have tuxedos practically every night. I remember one time I was in about 2 nights away from my destination, getting off the ship, and the waiter poured the food liquid down my back. They took my tuxedo and had it clean and right back to my cabin within hours.
So you were on the Queen Elizabeth II. That's quite a famous ship. Aside from the tuxedos, Yeah, that's a really famous ship to be on. What aside from the tuxedos every night, what else was different about that ship than you find with regular ships?
Well, more elite, I suppose, and but they had the same types of programs, but it dressed up more at dinner time, and
Oh, cool. That's really so. Before we wrap this interview up, I have to ask one last question. What is the secret of a long cruising life, Ray?
secret: enjoy yourself, meet people, converse with them, and just have a good time, and don't overdo yourself.
Awesome. That's some great advice, Ray. Thank you so much, and I want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to be with us tonight and talk to us. So thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, Ray.
You're right. I'm so happy to be here.
We were happy to have you. Thank you.
And
So the Carnival Horizon, it's getting its very own queen, the queen of hip-hop, that is. Lover or hater, Queen Latifah is going to be the ship's godmother when it sails later this year. Latifah will preside over the ship's official naming ceremony in New York City on May 23rd, 2018, and she'll also participate in a special Horizon version of the cruise line's shipboard reproduction of the hit Paramount Network TV show Lip Sync Battle. Carnival Horizon will introduce a handful of firsts for the line, including Guy's Pig and Anchor Smokehouse, Brewhouse, and the line's first teppanyaki restaurant, an expansion of the popular venue, Bonsai Sushi. After Carnival Horizon's launch in Europe, the ship will reposition to New York for a summer of 4-night Bermuda and 8-night Caribbean cruises. It will then head down to Miami for year-round Caribbean cruises beginning in September of 2018. At least 2 cruise lines, Carnival Cruise Line and Royal Caribbean, have begun to cancel shore excursions that involve ferries in Cozumel, Mexico, after the U.S. State Department issued a warning to U.S. tourists. The reason for the warning came from the U.S. State Department, which was due to an explosion on a tourist ferry last month. Investigators later found an explosive device on board the ferry. On Thursday, 2 more explosive devices were found attached to another ferry in Cozumel. Royal Caribbean's Allure of the Seas is visiting Cozumel, Mexico today, and passengers received a letter stating that all shore excursions that involved taking a ferry were canceled. Passengers who booked shore excursions that involved taking a tourist ferry were refunded in the form of a credit to their onboard account. The cruise line included the following in their letter. We feel it is important to make you aware that the U.S. State Department today published a safety warning discouraging travel on tourist ferries in Cozumel. The U.S. State Department remains confident of the Mexican government's efforts to ensure the safety of all tourists in the country. However, in abundance of caution, we are canceling sponsored shore excursions that involve tourist ferries. We also discourage guests from taking part in independent excursions that involve tourist ferries. In a similar statement, Carnival had this to say. In an abundance of caution, we have canceled all ship-sponsored tours that make use of ferries between Cozumel and Playa del Carmen, and we are strongly advising our guests that ferries from the Cozumel to the mainland be avoided. And next week, our guest on the show is going to be Adrian from Cozumel Shores Tours, so I'm sure that we're going to be talking to him about this and answering all of your questions and worries and concerns. So our show and all the wonderful abilities that we have to bring in guests remotely wouldn't be possible at the level that we do it without vMix. vMix is the live production software that powers our live show and many, many other high-end productions. From church services to football games, more and more live productions are running on vMix. And what our producer Bird really liked when he was trying to improve our show was that they give you a full 60-day trial of everything. That way you can test it out risk-free before you buy for a full 2 months. And then they have systems starting at just $350 up to $1,500, depending on your production requirements. If you're going to do any sort of serious live streaming, you need vMix. So try it at vmix.com today for free. So Sydney is the state capital of New South Wales and the most populous city in Australia. Port Jackson, consisting of the waters of Sydney Harbour, Middle Harbour, North Harbour, and the Lane Cove and Parramatta rivers, is the natural harbour of Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. The harbour is an inlet of the Tasman Sea, which is part of the South Pacific Ocean, and is the location of the Sydney Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge. The first people to inhabit the area, now known as Sydney, were Indigenous Australians, having migrated from northern Australia and before that from Southeast Asia. Radiocarbon dating suggests human activity first started to occur in the Sydney area from around 30,735 years ago. The first meeting between the native people and the British occurred on April 29th of 1770 when Lieutenant James Cook landed on Botany Bay at the Kurnell Peninsula and encountered the Gwenagal clan. The earliest British settlers called the natives Eora people. Eora is the term the indigenous population used to describe their origins upon first contact with the British. Its literal meaning is from this place. Sydney Cove from Port Jackson to Petersham was inhabited by the Cadigal clan. England and Ireland had for a long time been sending convicts across the Atlantic Ocean to the American colonies. That trade was ended with the Declaration of Independence by the United States in 1776. Between 1788 and 1792, about 4,300 convicts were landed at Sydney. The colony was not founded on the principles of freedom and prosperity. Maps from this time show no prison buildings. The punishment for convicts was transportation rather than incarceration, but serious offenses were penalized by flogging and hanging. The year 1840 was the final year of convict transportation to Sydney, which by this time had a population of 35,000. Gold was discovered in the colony in 1851, and with it came thousands of people seeking to make money. Sydney's population reached 200,000 by 1871. When Britain declared war on Germany in 1939, Australia too entered. During the war, Sydney experienced a surge in industrial development to meet the needs of a wartime economy. Far from mass unemployment, there were now labor shortages and women becoming active in male roles. Following the end of the war, the city continued to expand. There were 1.7 million people living in Sydney in 1950 and almost 3 million by 1975. Today, Sydney serves as a gateway for much tourism in Australia. Popular destinations include the Sydney Opera House, Sydney Harbour Bridge, Watson's Bay, the Rocks, Sydney Tower, Darling Harbour, the State Library of New South Wales, the Royal Botanic Garden, the Royal National Park, the Australian Museum, the Museum of Contemporary Art, the Art Gallery of New South Wales, the Queen Victoria Building, Sea Life Sydney Aquarium, Taronga Zoo, Bondi Beach, the Blue Mountains, and the Sydney Olympic Park. Remember, we have many past videos available for you to watch at our website, CruiseWeek.tv, which also has links to our t-shirt pages and support pages, as well as if you'd like to help out with our funding for a Season 2 trip, or would like to advertise on the show, you can do that with the links from our site. If you know someone who's going to enjoy watching the show as much as you do, be nice and share the link to their Facebook wall. That way they too can enjoy. Also, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and Facebook pages, because just doing that alone really helps show our sponsors the support that we have and helps keep the show alive each week. Plus, you get entered into some great cruise swag drawings. Also, guys, Matt is going to be back next week and revisiting with an old friend. That's going to be Adrian from Cozumel. He was on our second show over a year ago, and we thought it would be fun to bring him back and see how the island has changed and what new developments are happening, especially in the wake of this week's ferry news. So join us next Saturday to find out more. That being said, that wraps up another CruiseWeek.tv show. So we'll see you all next time. Yep. Ray, thank you so much for a great show. That was awesome.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I thought you were finished.
Thanks, Ray. That was great.
Yeah. Jamie was talking to my daughter, Celeste. She's cruised with her before. And she was with me when we went to Cuba.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, Jamie does the Cuba ones. Thanks ever so much, Ray. We appreciate it.
Okay.